Well, this is a little different. Just another Saturday, and I'm giving my daughter away. Very strange feeling for me. I'm hoping that by the third one it gets a little bit easier. Now, I've been asked to say something here today. I've also been asked to be brief. I've been asked to be brief by my high school sweetheart, and the person I married 37 years ago. I'll be brief. First, when this day was approaching, there were so many things going on, and I just thought, for some reason, it was strange, back to Danielle and her sisters, sitting at the kitchen table, and I had this thing, tongue-in-cheek, talking about being the total package. And so we talked about all those things. What does that include? And we always came up with a few things, intelligence, beauty, but most importantly, to be a good, decent, caring person. And when I look at Danielle, and I think you'll all agree with me, she is the total package. I couldn't be more proud of her, and I couldn't love her more. And Greg, you're okay too. Honestly, Greg, I couldn't be happier. Luann couldn't be happier to have you in our family. You are a true testament to your parents' hard work and good upbringing. I was going to say, I have to believe he was a handful on occasion. I proudly call your son my son-in-law. Proudly. So, where do I go from here? I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be enjoying myself more, although I know it doesn't seem that way. But I'd like to just bring one point to Greg's attention. Greg's had a chance to get to know me over the last few years. And I've gotten the chance to know him. And for me, Greg knows that almost too often, I always say, I consider myself to be the luckiest guy I know. And I truly believe that. And I'm happy to say that as of today, Greg will be able to say he's the luckiest guy he met. Congratulations. Just one last thing, because I have to be brief. Danielle came to me and talked about a song for the night. And I used to force my 3 daughters in my car. I put the top down during the summer, and I'd play oldies, 50s, those kinds of songs. I loved them. And Danielle gravitated. There was one song that seemed to always catch her attention. And sure enough, years later, she's not riding in my convertible anymore, but years later, she brings this song up. So Danielle, can I have the stands?
On a cloudy day, when it's cold outside, I got the moment made. Well, I guess you say what can make me feel this way. It's not talking about my girl. I got so much honey in the bees taking me. I got a sweeter song than the birds in the tree. Well, I guess you say what can make me feel this way. It's my love talking down my
And at this time, we'd like to invite Gregory to escort his mother onto the dance floor as the two will be dancing to Forever Young. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time I ask that you please remain seated as we would like to invite up our best man, Thomas, to say a few words. Have a nice big hand. Let's hear it.
Steve, for throwing a fantastic party the last 2 days. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Thomas Walsh, Greg's cousin and de facto brother, being we both grew up with sisters. Based on me being older and more mature, at this point in my life, I will not exit this wedding with a cabbage on my head wheeled out on a luggage cart the way Greg did at mine. But I was always the older, more mature brother, except when I got us kicked out of Thanksgiving Day dinner for telling some stories that the Whippany crew had gotten into the first night back together after at college. Greg did make sure to get me back for this when my wife and I moved into our first house, and Greg had a party in my basement, and the same Whippany crew was sure to christen the toilet and empty my bar. On that note, I'd like to read a statement that is hanging above my son's room at my house that really proves true when talking about my brother relationship with Greg. Brothers, playmates in the beginning, best friends for life. The one who stands up and defends you no matter what. Brothers are for playing on your team, sleeping in your tent, and racing on your track. A brother is a guaranteed partner in crime and always thinks your wild ideas are the greatest. He understands your successes and failures when no one else does. With a brother you can speak without words, follow without directions, and laugh like crazy for no reason at all. Deep in their hearts, probably unspoken, brothers are best friends. A lot of best man speeches are funny stories and great jokes. I thought the above statement was the most accurate description of our relationship since we spent summers at my grandparents' house on the Jersey Shore, surfing, while I was surfing and Greg was kind of following. But hey, that has now changed. Playing soccer, building an awesome treehouse, and taking multiple vacations. The other important point I would like to make about Greg is I envy the close relationships and friendships he has maintained from his childhood all the way through his days at Northeastern. In today's age, you don't see these type of lasting relationships as much, and is a true testament to the kind of person that Greg truly is. This is why his love for Danielle will be forever lasting. Knowing Greg for his entire life, I can honestly say that I've never seen him as happy, and for this I would like to thank Danielle. I would like to tell them both that it was a special honor for me to be part of this incredible day for them. And lastly, there was a saying in my fraternity house that Greg used at my wedding, and I couldn't believe he remembered it, being every time he visited me, I wasn't sure he would remember anything. May the best day Greg and Danielle have shared thus far be the worst of the days to come. I would like to propose a toast to the couple and wish them years of blissful happiness and best wishes.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please join me in welcoming up our best man, Troy. Say a few words.
First of all, thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Trifiolis and to the entire Trifiolis and Sherrill families for putting together this great weekend of events in honor and celebration of Greg and Danielle's wedding. The first time that I stood behind Greg on an altar was actually in May of 1993. We were in second grade and making our first communion together. Greg, your style has come a really long way since the clip-on tie that you wore that day and the boutonniere that was almost as big as your head. We've been on many trips and adventures together, worked on many ridiculous projects, and shared in a lifetime of great memories since that second grade day. Danielle, you look absolutely stunning tonight. Typically, the best man has known the groom for years, and the bride is more of a relative stranger. I'm in a unique position today because of the amount of time that I've known Danielle and the extent of our friendship as well. I first met Danielle in middle school. We went through middle school and high school together, and we both also graduated from Lehigh. I've attended her 8th grade graduation party, her Sweet 16. I even went as far as to take Danielle to a Lehigh varsity lacrosse state party, which is interesting considering I've never picked up a lacrosse stick in my life, and she's never had an interest in dating me. Go figure. I'm privileged and honored to count you both among my best friends and to be sharing in today's beautiful celebration with you. Greg has always been an incredible guy and a loyal friend, and as previously mentioned, he's always up for an adventure or a project, no matter how crazy the trip or how ridiculous the project. We went to school together, took the same classes, including 3 years of high school home ec, played on the same sports teams, spent summers down the shore, and went on countless ski trips. That being said, there are a number of things about Greg that have changed and improved since he first started dating Danielle. First, his diet. Late night trips to bacon bagels or boardwalk pizza in the summer have been replaced with a gluten-free, health-conscious diet. A credit to you, Danielle. Second, Greg is way more conscious about exercise. One of the highlights of my week is getting text message updates about how he's outriding soccer moms at swim class. Also a credit to Danielle. Third, his dance moves have gotten better. Well, he says that his dance moves have gotten better, but we all have the rest of the night to decide if that's true or not. And most importantly, my friendship with Greg has grown stronger since the two of them started dating. With some other friends' significant others, I feel like I'm being sized up all the time, but I always feel like I can be myself around Danielle. And I love hanging out with the two of them just as much as I enjoyed hanging out with Greg alone. Now, Danielle, if only you could change his sports allegiances. Danielle, you and Greg are an awesome couple. You've combined to throw some of the most incredible parties, including one in my honor after I completed the marathon a few years back. You've become a really good and fast skier, and you've even allowed Greg and I to continue with the ridiculous projects, going so far as to let us build a shed on your roof in Manhattan. My apologies still to your neighbors for the fire alarm and the sawdust all throughout the building. From the moment that you and Greg first started dating, I felt like I'd gained an old friend that I had known forever. Oh wait, you were already an old friend that I've known forever. A few things stick out in the past few years, moments where I knew that Greg was in love with you and that you were perfect for him as well. First, March of 2011. This was around the time that Greg and Danielle first started dating, and Greg and I went on a ski trip to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life and home to some of the best skiing in the world. First day on the mountain, we're riding up the gondola, and I'm pointing out mountains, wildlife, all sorts of awesome stuff, and waiting for any kind of a response from Greg, but total crickets. I looked down and saw his mittens were off, and he was texting to see if Danielle would play Words with Friends with him on the phone. I was shocked. The day went on, and I was pointing out trails and asked at some point, what do we come down next? And he said to me, well, you know, Valentine's Day is coming up. I'm thinking of taking her on an anti-Valentine's Day date. You know, I want her to think that I like her, but if I wait until a week after, maybe it won't come across too strong. I think it was pretty obvious to me and likely to Danielle just how much he liked her. Then a few years ago, I went to visit Greg in the hospital after a procedure he had. This was also fairly early in Greg and Danielle's relationship, and I expected to find him alone in the hospital room. I picked up a couple of magazines on the way over, and arrived to find that Danielle was sitting by his bedside and had brought him a lifetime of Sudoku puzzles, a giant stuffed killer whale, and a bouquet of sunflowers. All very manly get well soon gifts, I might add. And also a clear indication of how caring Danielle was and how committed she was to this relationship. Those are two traits of Danielle's that have not wavered throughout Greg and Danielle's relationship. It's always been very apparent how much you care for and love Greg, and I'm happy that he's found a great woman to stand by him. Even in a low moment in the hospital like that, I've never seen Greg smile more. Danielle, not only are you beautiful, but you're also intelligent, compassionate, and an adventurous woman. Your only flaw, it seems, is questionable taste in men. All kidding aside, Greg's lucky to have you in his life. And now, if you'll all join me in raising a glass for the newly married couple. Greg, Danielle, to a lifetime of joy, bliss, and fulfillment. Cheers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this time, please join me in welcoming up our Maids of Honor, Taylor and Christy.
First, I just want to say that I'm having the time of my life celebrating these two tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I am Christy, Danielle's sister, and the middle child of the family. I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. A special thank you to my parents for everything you do day in and day out, and especially for tonight. You know, a couple weeks ago, I sat down and I started thinking about what I would want to say today. And I had a really hard time narrowing down all of the fun times I've had with Danielle and Greg, and growing up with Danielle from Saturdays at the Hunt in October to Hotel Chantel debacles to fighting over who makes the best egg sandwiches in LBI, which I won. But then I thought about something really special. And I remember, I'll never forget this day. I remember right where I was driving around. I had Danielle on the phone with me, and she's telling me all these things about Greg, and this was so early on in their relationship, and she's telling me about the heart-shaped pizza, and their dinners, and so on. And me, being the slightly annoying and intrusive middle child, because that's what we do, obviously I had to ask her a bunch of questions about this boy who was very quickly sweeping her off her feet. So at one point I said to her, Danielle, is Greg the one? And this was so early on in their relationship that if she totally blew me off, I really wouldn't have thought anything of it at all. I was literally half joking. I just had never heard Danielle so happy and so excited before. And let me tell you, Greg, without even a moment of silence, all I heard on the other line was, yep. And I could hear in her voice how sure she was about Greg. And I could feel her happiness, and I will never forget that day for two reasons. First, it was the day that I realized my sister, my idol in life, I got this, had found the love of her life. And second, because I was so excited to start planning this wedding. And then like 42 years went by before Greg actually proposed. But the proposal was perfect. Holidays are our absolute favorite time because with Danielle in the city and Taylor at college, holidays are a guaranteed time that the whole family will be together. So last Easter, Greg and I had been in cahoots for quite some time. I knew he was going to propose Easter morning before the three of us tore each other apart in our annual Easter egg hunt. So it's like 6 a.m. and I am laying in bed wide-eyed, and Danielle and my room are right next to each other. So I'm waiting to hear if they're waking up. And I hear Danielle opening up her Easter basket, and now I literally have my ear up against the wall. And I hear her opening up her basket, and she's cheering about the chocolate bunnies and whatnot. And then I hear her gasp, and she starts crying and saying, oh my God, it's beautiful. And now I'm crying up against the wall. And my mom must have heard us because she comes running up the stairs going, what's the matter? So I was like, Mom, it's fine. Everything's perfect. And everything was perfect. It was the best holiday we've ever had. So Greg, thank you for pulling the trigger and letting us be a part of that special day. And now we're here, and I couldn't be happier for you too. Greg, I can't thank you enough for making my sister as happy as she was that day, and for making her as happy as she is day in and day out, and for being her best friend. I have looked up to you since I've met you, and I am honored to call you my brother. Welcome to our family. Danielle, this is going to be the hardest part of my speech. From the bottom of my heart. And I know I speak for Taylor as well when I say this. You are our best friend, the person we turn to for advice. You always know the right things to say and how to make everything better. You literally light up the room, and not just because you're gorgeous, but because of your ridiculously awesome personality. You are the most selfless person I have ever met. And if Taylor and I ended up being half the person you are, we would be happy. So let's all raise our glasses. Danielle and Greg, you inspire us with your love every day. I love you guys so much, and I couldn't be happier.
Hi everyone, I'm Taylor. I'm Danielle's younger sister. Again, I want to thank you all for coming and celebrating this special night with us. I know it means a lot to Danielle and Greg that you're all here, and it means a lot to us as well. Danny, you're the most beautiful bride, and Greg, you're very handsome. I'm going to try and make it through this speech without crying. However, I can't make it through an episode of Say Yes to the Dress without sobbing, so I'm not promising anything, but I'll try my best. Danielle, when I was born, you didn't exactly welcome me with open arms. In fact, you even dedicated an entire chapter in your 8th grade autobiography about how much you were, quote, dreading my arrival. You referred to it as the most distressing time in your childhood. Well, I'm sorry for the distress. I was not aware of how quickly I was going to become the family favorite. I bet if someone had asked you back then, I would not be your first or second choice for maid of honor. But here I am, and I'm so honored to be here. I feel very lucky to be able to call you my role model and older sister. You're my best friend and confidant, but you're the reason Mom and Dad didn't let me have sleepovers until I turned 21. But you're also the reason I am who I am today. You've taught me everything from how to dance at fun nights, to how to deal with stress at college, and you've always had the best cures for a broken heart. You're smart, successful, beautiful, and caring, and you're also the best Easter egg hunter I've ever seen. I know I was the annoying little sister that wouldn't leave you alone, but it was only because I wanted to be just like you when I grew up. Thanks for always having my back and always wanting to get many pennies together. In the last chapter of your 8th grade autobiography, you wrote that after I was born, you realized you loved spending time with me. You also said that Christy was the person you can relate to the most. And you listed your 3 best friends as Casey, Tracy, and Steph. 16 years later, all 5 of us are standing right by your side for one of the most important days of your life. And I know all of us cannot be happier for you, Danielle. You're going to be a great wife. Only like 2 more seconds. Greg, I cannot thank you enough for making Danielle so happy. I knew you were the one for Danielle when you snuck me into Hotel Chantel when I was 18. I'm kidding. I knew you were the one way before then. You fit into our family seamlessly, and you're the best older brother I could ever ask for. It's truly comforting knowing that you'll always be my sister's side. Today, both of our families grow a little bit bigger, and I'm more than happy to welcome you into ours. Take care of my sister. The 2 of you have something very special. It's not easy to find the person you were truly meant to be with, but you did it. This is it. If everyone could please raise their glasses and toast to the new Mr. and Mrs. Sherrill. You two will have the marriage that everyone hopes for. Continue to enjoy life as much as you already do. Here's to a lifetime of happiness. Congratulations. I love you both.